Welcome back to Vacation Quest. Today, you'll see a town with a population of 22 that calls itself the restaurant capital of the world. A place where 3-year-olds get elected mayor. A waterfall that baffled scientists for decades because the water just disappeared. Minnesota's small towns are hiding some seriously weird stories. Let's count them down, from worst to best. Number 15. Vining. Tucked away in Otter Tail County with barely 70 residents, Vining would be easy to miss if it weren't for the giant sculptures. The Nyberg Sculpture Park features massive metal creations scattered throughout town, including a 12-foot, 1,200-pound iron foot. Not Bigfoot, the creature, just a giant foot. There's also an elephant made entirely out of lawnmower blades and a watermelon sculpture celebrating the town's annual Watermelon Day. Artist Ken Nyberg has been crafting these pieces for decades, and the park now has more sculptures than Vining has people. Looking to settle here? The average home runs around $160,000. Number 14. Lindstrom. About an hour north of Minneapolis, Lindstrom proudly calls itself America's Little Sweden. The town of 4,500 people leans hard into its Scandinavian roots, and the first thing you'll notice is the water tower shaped like a giant Swedish teapot. Downtown is filled with European-style shops like Deutschland Meats and the locally famous Lindstrom Bakery, where you absolutely have to try their Scandinavian donuts. The town also features Allemansrätt Park, named after the Swedish custom of the right to roam freely in nature. Homes here average around $320,000, thanks to the proximity to the Twin Cities. Number 13. Blue Earth. In the southern part of the state sits Blue Earth, population 3,000, which is home to a 55.5-foot tall Jolly Green Giant statue. The big green guy has been standing at Green Giant Statue Park since 1979. And yes, he's the vegetable mascot you're thinking of. The statue was built to honor the canning industry that once dominated the area. After your photo with the giant, you can check out the Jolly Green Giant Museum, which houses the world's largest collection of Green Giant memorabilia. Homes in Blue Earth average around $150,000. Number 12. Lake City. Sitting along the shores of Lake Pepin, which is actually a wide stretch of the Mississippi River, Lake City has a population of about 5,200 and a claim to fame that changed summer recreation forever. This is where water skiing was invented. In 1922, an 18-year-old named Ralph Samuelson strapped 2 pine boards to his feet and had his brother pull him behind a boat. After days of failed experiments, he finally rose out of the water on July 2nd. He never patented his invention and never made a dime from it. Today, a life-sized bronze statue honors him, and the town celebrates water ski days every June. Average home prices here run about $280,000. Number 11. Lanesboro. Down in the bluff country of southeastern Minnesota, Lanesboro has around 750 people and sits in the heart of Minnesota's Amish country. The Root River Trail runs right through town, making it a destination for cyclists who come to pedal through some of the most scenic terrain in the state. But people also come for the pie. The Aroma Pie Shop puts out what Travel and Leisure once called one of the best pies in America, their signature Blue Barb, a mix of blueberry and rhubarb. Beyond the trails and the bakeries, Lanesboro has a thriving art scene with live theater and galleries. Homes average around $220,000. Number 10. Embarrass. Yes, that's really the name. Embarrass sits in St. Louis County in northeastern Minnesota with about 600 residents, and it holds a title nobody else wants: the coldest place in the lower 48. The unofficial record low hit 64 below zero in February 1996. The name comes from the French word for obstacle, referring to the river that gave early voyagers so much trouble navigating. Finnish immigrants settled here in the early 1900s, and their legacy lives on through beautifully preserved log homesteads and traditional saunas. The Finnish Heritage Tours take you through buildings that are now on the National Register of Historic Places. If you can handle the cold, homes here average around $170,000. Number 9. Stillwater. On the St. Croix River, about 20 miles east of St. Paul, Stillwater has around 19,000 residents and a history that predates Minnesota itself. This is where the 1848 convention was held that eventually led to Minnesota becoming a state, earning Stillwater the nickname the birthplace of Minnesota. The downtown is packed with antique shops, bookstores, and restaurants in preserved 19th century buildings along the river bluffs. You can ride a gondola, explore caves, or just walk the historic streets. Because of its charm and location, real estate doesn't come cheap. Average homes run about $450,000. Number 8. Grand Marais. Perched on the shores of Lake Superior in Cook County, Grand Marais has about 1,700 residents and is the gateway to some of Minnesota's most dramatic wilderness. But the real attraction is a waterfall that baffled scientists for decades. At Judge C.R. Magny State Park, the Brule River splits in two at Devil's Kettle. One side flows down normally, the other pours into a hole in the rock and just vanishes. People threw in ping-pong balls, logs, even dye trying to figure out where it goes. Nothing ever came back up. In 2017, hydrologists finally measured the water flow and determined it simply rejoins the river a short distance downstream. The powerful currents just pulverize everything thrown in. Homes in Grand Marais average around $345,000. Number 7. Red Wing. About an hour south of the Twin Cities, along the Mississippi River, Red Wing has around 16,000 people and a history built on boots and pottery. The Red Wing Shoe Company has been making work boots here since 1905, and the factory store features the world's largest boot, standing over 20 feet tall. The Pottery Museum of Red Wing showcases another industry that once dominated the town, producing stoneware crocks and art pottery. Barn Bluff offers one of the most photographed views of the Mississippi River Valley. Average home prices in Red Wing run about $265,000. Number 6. New Ulm. In south-central Minnesota, New Ulm has about 14,000 residents and was declared the most German town in America by the 2000 census. Overlooking the town is the Hermann Monument, a 102-foot copper statue of a Germanic folk hero that's the third largest copper statue in the country after the Statue of Liberty and Portlandia. Downtown features a 45-foot glockenspiel that chimes 3 times daily while 12 animated figures dance and rotate below. The August Shell Brewing Company, founded in 1860, is the second oldest family-owned brewery in the country. Homes here average around $210,000. And now we're into the top 5. Number 5. Darwin. With about 350 residents, Darwin in Meeker County is home to the world's largest ball of twine made by one man. Francis Johnson started wrapping baler twine in March 1950 and kept at it for 4 hours a day for 29 years until he had to stop due to health issues in 1979. The result? A ball 12 feet in diameter, weighing over 17,000 pounds. He used a railroad jack to rotate it and keep it perfectly round. Ripley's Believe It or Not tried repeatedly to buy it, but the town refused. Weird Al Yankovic wrote a song about it. The town renamed a street Weird Alley in his honor. Today, the ball sits in a glass gazebo downtown, and Twine Ball Day is celebrated every August. Homes in Darwin average around $185,000. Number 4. Austin. In southeastern Minnesota, Austin has about 25,000 people and is the headquarters of Hormel Foods, which means one thing: Spam. The Spam Museum is a free 14,000 square foot celebration of the canned meat that fed American troops in World War II and became a cultural phenomenon. You can watch a mock assembly line, learn about Spam's popularity in places like Hawaii and South Korea, and get Spamples from volunteer guides called Spambassadors. The museum has been through 3 iterations and now sits in a custom building downtown. Love it or hate it, 12.8 cans of Spam are consumed every second worldwide. Homes in Austin average around $175,000. Now, the top 3. Number 3. Northfield. About 45 miles south of Minneapolis, Northfield has around 20,000 residents and is famous for something that went spectacularly wrong. On September 7, 1876, the notorious James Younger gang, including Jesse James himself, rode into town to rob the First National Bank. It did not go well for them. The cashier refused to open the safe and was shot dead. Meanwhile, the townspeople grabbed their guns. In 7 minutes, 2 robbers lay dead in the street, and every surviving gang member was wounded. The largest manhunt in U.S. history followed. Jesse and Frank James escaped, but the 3 younger brothers were captured. Every September, Northfield celebrates Defeat of Jesse James Days with reenactments, a rodeo, and a parade. The original bank building is now a museum. Homes here average about $405,000. Number 2. Anoka. Just north of Minneapolis, with about 18,000 residents, Anoka calls itself the Halloween capital of the world. And Congress actually made it official. Here's why. In 1920, local kids had a tradition of causing chaos on Halloween. Cows roaming Main Street, outhouses tipped over, wagons on rooftops. So civic leaders decided to throw a massive party to distract them. It worked. The celebration has happened every year since, except for 2 years during World War II. In 1937, a 12-year-old boy named Harold Blair traveled to Washington, D.C. wearing a sweater with Halloween Capital sewn on it, and got Congress to recognize Anoka's title. Today, October in Anoka means parades, house decorating cons, and now for the most interesting town in Minnesota. Number 1. Dorset. In the Lakes region of north-central Minnesota sits Dorset, Population 22. That's not a typo. 22 people. And yet, Dorset calls itself the restaurant capital of the world because it has 5 restaurants for those 22 residents. That's the highest restaurant-to-resident ratio you'll find anywhere. But the really wild part is how they choose their mayor. Every year, at the Taste of Dorset Festival, anyone can put a name in a hat for $1. A name gets drawn, and that person becomes mayor. The position is purely symbolic, but the results have made national news. In 2012, 3-year-old Bobby Tufts won. He served 2 terms before losing re-election at age 5. His 3-year-old brother James later became mayor too. The position has been held by kids from Utah and dogs from Bemidji. Dorset proves you don't need a big population to have a big personality. If you want to live near this quirky spot, homes in the nearby Park Rapids area average around $275,000. From the coldest spot in the lower 48 to a town that elects toddlers as mayor, Minnesota's small towns deliver some of the strangest stories you'll find anywhere. If you're from Minnesota, drop a comment and let us know which of these places you've actually visited. Hit subscribe if you want more videos like this one. See you in the next one.